Most people hear the phrase, bifilar coil, and immediately assume it's either revolutionary technology, or complete pseudoscience. But the strange part is that the idea actually comes from a real patent filed by Nikola Tesla in 1894. And that's exactly why people still talk about it today. Not because everyone believes it can generate unlimited power, but because it sits in a strange space between legitimate electrical engineering, internet mythology, and the growing desire for energy independence. The bifilar coil became one of those ideas that never fully disappeared. Every few years, it comes back into public attention through online forums, DIY electronics communities, alternative energy videos, or discussions about Tesla's unfinished experiments. And once people start researching it, they usually fall into a rabbit hole that becomes much bigger than just a coil of wire. Because underneath the technical discussion is something more emotional. People want to believe there are still hidden ways to improve how energy works. At first glance, a bifilar coil doesn't look dramatic at all. It's simply a coil made from two parallel wires wound together in a specific arrangement. Compared to massive industrial power systems, it almost looks primitive. But Tesla believed certain coil configurations could behave differently from conventional electrical components. He experimented constantly with resonance, magnetic fields, voltage behavior, and wireless transmission concepts. And that's where the fascination begins. Because Tesla wasn't just trying to improve existing electrical systems. He often approached electricity as if it still had unexplored behavior hidden beneath what engineers already understood. That mindset alone makes people curious. Especially today, when most people interact with electricity constantly while understanding very little about how it actually works. You flip a switch. Power appears. You charge your phone. The battery fills. But the systems behind modern electricity are mostly invisible. Huge grids, transformers, substations, transmission lines, and infrastructure controlled far away from ordinary households. So when people discover old Tesla patents involving unusual coils, wireless energy experiments, or unconventional electrical designs, it feels different from modern consumer technology. It feels hands-on again. Mechanical. Experimental. Understandable. That's one reason the bifilar coil remains popular inside DIY communities. It represents the idea that ordinary people can still physically interact with electrical principles instead of treating electricity like some inaccessible corporate system. And honestly, that matters more psychologically than most people realize. Because the real attraction often has less to do with free energy claims and more to do with independence. The real issue isn't whether a bifilar coil can magically solve global energy problems. It's why so many people are searching for alternatives in the first place. Electricity prices continue rising in many parts of the world. Energy systems feel fragile during storms, blackouts, and emergencies. Solar systems can be expensive. Backup generators require fuel and maintenance. So naturally, people become curious when they hear stories about small experimental devices, unusual electrical efficiency, or forgotten inventions connected to Tesla's name. Some people approach bifilar coils scientifically. Others approach them almost philosophically. And then the internet complicates everything. Because once Tesla's name enters a conversation, the claims often escalate quickly. Discussions about resonance and inductance suddenly turn into theories about suppressed technology, hidden discoveries, or secret energy systems. That's where it becomes difficult to separate engineering from mythology. The truth is that bifilar coils are absolutely real electrical components. Engineers, hobbyists, and researchers can build them, test them, and study their electrical properties. But many exaggerated claims attached to them online go far beyond established physics. And ironically, that tension is part of what keeps the topic alive. People are drawn to unresolved ideas. Especially when those ideas involve someone like Tesla, whose life already feels surrounded by mystery, unfinished projects, and technological predictions that sounded impossible during his lifetime. Over time, the bifilar coil became symbolic of something larger than the component itself. It became symbolic of possibility. The possibility that mainstream systems are not the only systems. The possibility that old inventions might still contain overlooked insights. The possibility that technology could eventually become smaller, cheaper, and more decentralized. That emotional layer explains why videos about Tesla coils, wireless power, or DIY energy systems continue attracting millions of views online. Most viewers are not electrical engineers. They're homeowners, hobbyists, survivalists, curious thinkers, or people frustrated by rising costs and increasing dependence on centralized infrastructure. And when they see a simple copper coil connected to strange electrical demonstrations, it creates a powerful contrast against the complexity of modern life. A small object, a huge promise. Even if people remain skeptical, they still want to understand why others are fascinated by it. There's also another reason bifilar coils keep resurfacing. They visually look mysterious. That sounds simple, but it matters. Modern technology is usually hidden behind plastic screens and sealed devices. You can't see how your phone works. You can't see electricity moving through infrastructure. But coils, sparks, arcs, and rotating magnetic systems feel physical and visible. You can watch them interact. You can build them yourself. That visibility creates emotional engagement. And Tesla understood that better than almost anyone. His public demonstrations often looked theatrical because electricity itself looked alive inside his experiments. That imagery stayed embedded in popular culture permanently. Even today, one dramatic image of electrical arcs around a Tesla coil immediately captures attention. And once attention turns into curiosity, curiosity often turns into deeper exploration about energy, infrastructure, and technological independence. That's why the bifilar coil continues surviving across generations of internet culture. Not necessarily because people fully understand it, but because it represents unfinished technological imagination. A reminder that even in a world dominated by massive systems and corporations, people still hope there might be simpler, smarter, or more accessible ways to approach energy in the future. If you want a more structured breakdown of Tesla's original bifilar coil patent, the engineering concepts behind it, and why modern DIY communities still experiment with these designs today, there's a practical guide linked below. And if you enjoy exploring the intersection of technology, psychology, and hidden history, subscribe for more videos like this. Because sometimes the most powerful ideas are the ones people still can't stop debating more than a century later.